Hello all, I'm Shilpa Pimpalkar, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Engineering at AISMS Institute of Information Technology Pune. I welcome you all for the session of Database Management Systems. In this session, we are going to discuss about MongoDB aggregation. Aggregation operation is carried out on set of collections, that is data records, and it returns the computed results. Assuming you have created a database in MongoDB and collection you have created, you can apply aggregation operation. In this session, we'll discuss after this queries, how executed with the aggregation and actual execution of queries on MongoDB command line. Aggregation operations groups values from multiple documents together and can perform variety of operations on the group data to return a single result. For example, you can find out minimum, maximum value, average, and you can find out sum and count of columns which matches specific criteria. MongoDB's aggregation framework is modeled on the concept of data processing pipelines. Documents enter a multi-stage pipeline that transforms the document into an aggregated results. There are three ways that you can perform aggregation: aggregation pipeline, MapReduce function, and single purpose aggregation method. MongoDB provides three ways to perform aggregation: aggregation pipeline, MapReduce function, and single purpose aggregation method. In this session, we are going to discuss about aggregation pipeline. Assuming this query, this is very important part in this session, how to write this aggregate query. Suppose that you have order as a collection, db.order aggregate. In pipeline, there are two stages. One is match and other is group. First stage, match stage, filters the document by the department field. Here it is expected that you might have created a collection with department as one of the field, and comp is a value assigned to this department in some document. And this particular stage filters on a department field and passes these particular documents to the next stage, and those documents that have value equal to comp. In second stage, in group stage, it groups the documents by the cost field to calculate sum of the amount for each unique project. This is cost field and it is grouping based on a project, and it is finding sum. So try to understand this format of aggregation. It is a pipeline. First stage, it is a filter which filters the documents in collection based on a department value. Next, once you filter, it is again applying a second stage filter for documenting the for grouping the documents based on a project. Now let's see one video which is available on this particular site. You can note this site. I'm going to play that video to give you illustration of how this aggregation works. So this is aggregate which matches on a status A, and it groups customer ID and it finds out sum of amount. Now let's see, here you have status as A and status as D. What is first stage? You have first stage as a match which filters the document and it passes those documents which matches this criteria. So here, as we see, this as per this match, only these documents need to be passed through first stage. So let's see this. So as you can see, this is discarded. It is not matching with this criteria A. So these documents are grouped. As you can see here, next is based on customer ID. If you find here customer ID A123, A123, it is grouping based on those customer ID. So again, it is aggregated. Collection of this document is aggregated based on customer ID, and here it is A123. Since we are mentioning here sum of amount, it is 500 and 250, it is added, this value sum is calculated, and 750 is represented here 200. Similarly, it will work based on whatever data you are specifying in the collection. It can work on multiple documents in a collection. So whatever animation we have seen just for demonstrating aggregation stages is available on this website. You can refer this. You can note this and you can refer this for further understanding. Now I'm going to demonstrate you execution of these queries. Here we are using some aggregate functions. MongoDB aggregation supports sum, and again you have first, last. One important difference I want to show you, that's why I have added this query. Here sum, and in front of that value is added as a dollar cost. Here dollar sum, and here 1. It works as a counting. It will find out count of specific criteria, like it will find out in a collection, employee collection, how many employees are there with same ID. In this case, it will find out in employee collection, it is doing grouping based on this project, and it will find out sum of cost project wise. This is first aggregate function, first, last. Next, if you find out maximum cost project, if you want to find out minimum cost project, and if you want to find out average cost project, you can find out. So now we'll see implementation of these. I'll show you execution of these queries. Now we'll see MongoDB aggregate functions, how to execute it on a collection. So let me check how many databases and collections are there. We'll execute show DBS. I'm going to use DemoDB. I'm going to check what are collections in this. So this EMP collection I'm going to use. I'll write db.emp.find. So it is showing me all the documents which are present in this EMP collection. So if you can see here, EID 1, E-name, department, project on which employee is working, and cost paid to that particular employee. Like this, we have various departments: comp, instu, IT, and electrical. Now we are going to execute here aggregate function. Here we are giving aggregate function for employee ID, number of employees, and we are going to count it. Here it is showing ID 3, 1, 2 and count. You can check here ID 3, 1, ID 3, 2, ID 3, its count is 3. Next, for 1, how many records are there? Only 1. So for 1, it is showing 1. So if I give here command to display projects and cost, you can find here DBMS project and cost. And if I execute here aggregate query, it is showing, you can check for test Java 10,000. So as per record, it is displaying. So we have seen aggregate function here for finding sum. Next we'll execute aggregate function to find the first. So for first, next we'll see for last, this is for last, and you can find mean, this is for mean, minimum cost,
You can check here aggregate function max. It is displaying max value. Next we'll see average, and this is for average, for finding average.